Let's try that again. Okay, we're going to try this again. It said we were supposed to go live, and we didn't, and we now are back in live one more time. So let's try this again. Happy New Year. We're going to talk about what we did last week, some places that we went, and all kinds of other stuff. So let's get this party started. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary. Why is it What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers and club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I am no different. And it's what's in the drawers in the golf shop. What we do is we talk about golf club repairs, reviews, and fittings, all so your scores can and hopefully will go low. Alrighty, so hot topics. Number one, we know that President Carter, he passed away at the age of 100. I hate for that. Turns out there's a story with my story connected to that. In my youth, I lived in Maryland for a couple of years in a place called Cape St. Clair. And one of my best buddies, their parents worked in his administration. And so we got to hear a lot about President Carter and all the good that he was doing. Now, that being said, I know that the political pundits would classify him probably not real high on the scale in the length of presidencies. However, as a human being, apparently he was top notch. Also, he was a Navy nuke, so I got to give him props for that one. So, condolences to the Carter family, and hopefully they can get through it. All righty. So, we did two sets. We did two sets. One of them is for here, Charlie. He's on here, and another one was for another golfer that wanted me to build Tacoma irons, and we built them to a particular spec. We're using a particular shaft and a particular grip. And when we had to go through it, I'm working backwards, by the way. We got to the swing weight he desired. Only one club wasn't exactly on, and the frequencies were right there where we wanted to be. We went to, and it was a good thing. Normally, you would just put them together and say, "Okay, I'm done," but we do lofts and lie checks of everything that we do, and every last one of the lie angles, the first 5 were identical. Okay, identical, and the loft angles were very, very close to what they needed to be. Had to been just a couple that within a degree. I'm not going to get too squared off about it, but he wanted them a degree and a half upright to begin with, and the first 4 or 5 were all at 62, and that's problematic, particularly when you start getting down to the lower end. Fortunately, these were a forged club, and they were very, very easy to bend. So we got him all what he needed, put the special BB&F ferrule on there for him, and shipped him out. In fact, Santa Claus was working on Christmas Day trying to get these things out because on day after Christmas, Mrs. Mcgolf and I were on the road. So we had to get those things done. The other set that we did was for Charlie. And Charlie, we got his done. I got to tell you, it was probably, and I've said it already, was one of the most classic sets I have put together in a long, long time. And what I mean by classic, it's all the typical, just classic golf club stuff, i.e. what you see here, the Tour Velvets. And these were, I don't know what it was about these, but they felt a bit more tacky than the standard Velvet. Maybe it was because we gave it a good cleaning. But I really, really liked the grip on it. It was a really nice grip. Then we put in some DG mids and the 100s and did that one. That was really good. And then we came in here and we finished it off with a gold ferrule and sent them out. So very, very good. Okay. All righty. So last bit of what we did over the weekend. Mrs. Mcgolf and I went and we completed the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. Now, the Kentucky Bourbon Trail was comprised of the actual Bourbon Trail and several of the craft trails, and that was when they were using a book a paper book as a passport of which you would go get stamps. Now it is all on your phone, and they're broken into regions. Okay. And nevertheless, this last region, we would have encompassed them all, and the same thing would have occurred. And we went to the Western region. And the Western region encompasses the Boundary Oak, MB Roland, Dueling Grounds, Casey Jones, and Bard distilleries. All craft distilleries, all very small, all very nice people. And then we finished it up with Green River. And if any of you guys follow that, Green River has been a very, very popular brand because they've been bought by Bardstown. And what they're doing is putting out a very nice product at a very nice price. It can easily sit on some of the tables. Now, we could get in there and talk about all this stuff all day long, but this is about golf, not about bourbon. However, we are going to finish it off a little bit. So at the Bard, you see that massive projection right there. That was the stills that those folks at the Bard Distillery are using. Now, what they're doing is they have a ginormous column still, and it's in this kind of a facility. And what that is, that's an old schoolhouse, and that's the gymnasium. In the back is the middle school, and off to the right, you can see in the picture, is the high school. They've gutted the high school, and that's where a big old column still is going, where they will like tenfold their production. And these guys have got it going on. So, so real quick, this is what we did. This was our finishing right here, and that was with our tour guide. Very nice people, and they have some flavored whiskeys. So if you're not one of those that don't like to burn your mouth out, have that kind of thing, they have the flavored whiskeys. One of them was an apple pie that Fred Minnick gave a big ginormous thumbs up to, and we walked away with a couple of bottles out of that one. The very last bit of it is that we went to Green River, and I got a few here. The thing with Green River, and I still to this day don't know why this car is in there for them, but the Green River has a huge history going back to the 1800s, of course. And the Green River had a slogan. It was, and you can see it on the car, a drink without headaches. And of course, Truth in Advertising got them, and they said, no, you can't do that. So now they say whiskey without regrets. And I imagine these guys were sponsoring this car, and that was what was going on. But the history goes way, 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 way back. All right, and there we are outside, and they still have their Christmassy stuff up, and of course there we are celebrating our 41st right there, and so that was very cool. The last bit of it is we stopped at a couple of distilleries you may have heard of. One is Preservation, and the other one was Heaven Hill. Heaven Hill did a bourbon your way, and you tasted a bourbon after you go through it, and these were specific to the room, to Heaven Hill, and so these were unique, only to be bought from there. You do bourbon. Yeah, we do bourbon our way. And Mrs. Mcgolf actually liked a larceny pick. And so they made a big deal. We told them it was our 31st anniversary. They made a big deal, and there we are. The gentleman next to Robin, he was celebrating a birthday, and so that was cool. Turns out he was in the Navy, and still is. As a quartermaster, we'll give him a break for that. And so it was a really fun time. We bottled up a couple, and we stumbled onto an Elijah Craig 18, and that was a really cool anniversary. Get out of their thing. Alrighty, so again, hopefully. And when we talked about last time, it was just before Christmas. So in the comments today, put in there what you got for Christmas from a golfing, if you're willing to share, right? You don't have to, but if you are, throw it there in the comments and let's see what everybody got from a golfing Christmas, or if you just want to say what you got for Christmas, that would be fine too. And then going forward, tomorrow is New Year's Eve, right? New Year's Eve. And that is our 41st anniversary. And for me and Mrs. Mcgolf, not me and Mcgolf, me and Mrs. Mcgolf. And I got to tell you, I couldn't have got here without her. She's been the absolute backbone to making everything go. And I'm absolutely glad that she's here with me, and she's over here. And for some odd reason, she hasn't spoken 5 minutes, which is amazing. But I still love you anyway, and we'll go from there. So happy anniversary to her, and we go back to that one. Okay. Oh, I forgot. For those of you, I wanted to show you. There's a couple of things. We went to Casey Jones, and as a 41st anniversary, we got the Infinity Flask from Casey Jones. Casey Jones started as a moonshiner, and actually went legal. Now we went to Boundary Oak. The reason why I liked it, now there's a couple of things. Charlie, you would like one. I wish I had the picture of it. Maybe Mrs. Mcgolf will run upstairs. Anyway, we went to Boundary Oak was the first one, and they do a lot of work with the Army. And we went there to check it out, and they had a handful of products to be sure. And we talked about it, Abe Lincoln and Patton's Armored Diesel. And unfortunately, it was a special blend, and to me, it was like diesel, so I'm not a fan. However, they hooked us up with a gift pack. And I wanted to keep that like that. And I'm gonna off to the side. Mrs. Mcgolf is going to unwrap it, and we'll just keep pulling stuff out of it to show you. Okay, so to get back into the golf part of it. Anyway, we got some good reports back from Charlie, but also remember me talking to you about extending a set of clubs that were the Vice Golf clubs. The Vice Golf clubs, that guy sent us an email and just said he was just happier than snot that they turned out the way they did. He liked the added length. He liked the fact that we adjusted his lie angles, and the fact that we could save save the grips for him. So the Vice grips. So he got away pretty clean with a set of clubs, and we got another positive response from another set that we did, and so we're really happy with the response. You make that a little bit bigger, and it'll fit. Okay, so as we're doing it, so this is the reason why I thought this was important. This is the War Eagle. And this is for the 101st Airborne, I believe, is what this is called, and Old Abe. And it says, crafted with care and patience, yeah, smooth and rich. Yep, we got that perfect harmony. And then there's a bunch of eagles on some barrels. And the reason why I got it, if you can't see, is that this is the cork. And that thing is bad to the absolute bone. And there's some tape around it. We're not going to open it up right this very second. But it's just one of the coolest bottles ever. So that was the one reason I got it. And then we found out that they had this gift pack, and they gave us the gift pack. And then what else we get? Oh, we got a Boundary Oak candle. There we go. And what is it? Cinnamony kind of stuff?
It says pancakes, right?
Cinnamon pancake, but that's a hell of a candle. And then how many of these we get? And 2 rocks glasses with the Boundary Oak. The Boundary Oak logo, I think, is just super duper clean. It goes on just about everything. And we got a hat. And so that was cool. Plus we got the wooden crate that it came in, so not too bad. Okay. So we got that. So year in review, right? I didn't want to go over a whole lot of, I wanted to go over more, not golf industry, but more Mcgolf year in review. And as we were talking before when we were doing the golf grips, hopefully you liked the video that came out, was it yesterday, on doing extensions. Hopefully that helped. Actually, the one that we were putting in the vibration reduction actually took off like nobody's business on my golf spy. It turned out I hit the timing just right is what happened. Anyway, so the things as far as grips go, the number one grip at Mcgolf was the Golf Pride MCC grip. All right, that's the half cord, half textured rubber grip. I would have thought for certain it would have been the CP2s of one time or another, but apparently we went through a ton of the MCC grips. That's a pretty cool thing. As far as a golf shaft goes for irons, the Nippon product. I mean, that's our primary getter is the Nippon product. And that particular one, I would say, was either the Neo 950s or the 120s. It goes either way, or actually maybe even the 105s. Yeah, the 105s. Now, driver shafts. I think in the driver shaft, VRTX or
Yes.
yeah, the VRTX from Project X was probably our number one for repairs and for builds. And they went in there. The GX was a very, 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 very close second. The number one iron was Mizuno. The number one iron was probably Mizuno. The number one driver was Callaway's smoke driver, and apparently it was number one in sales across the gambit anyway. In fact, in talking to our rep, Callaway was number one in every category except for fairway woods, and TaylorMade was that one, I believe. And in putters, it was Odyssey, although I can't for the life of me remember the model. If I had my druthers, I would say it was probably the Model 7 or some variation thereof. Although right now we're seeing that the zero torque putters are coming out, that might become all the rage for the new year. Keep an eye out on that when we go down to the show in January, because that will be one of the things. I saw that Makefield is releasing a couple of new putters, so we'll be interested to go see that. And I don't know if Lab is going to make a showing down there or not, but I don't see him on the vendor list. And there's always going to be one or two other putter companies, and because that's an easy way to get into the industry first and see if you can make it through there or not. As far as hybrids, what do you think on the hybrid?
Hybrid probably be Mizuno's.
You think? Okay, Mizuno beating out the Callaway. I'd say that's a pretty tight race. I bet if we go there, there's a difference of maybe 2 or 3 between the lot of them between those two, and we get through that. One of we looked into videos. One of the highest viewed videos outside of doing a repair video was me actually reviewing the golf clubs on a golf course by double the amount, which is really kind of funny. So we're going to try and do more of that going forward into the year, and we'll see whether or not Mother Nature allows that, because right now it's 50 degrees outside, but it's supposed to rain and turn around and get into the 30s. So, welcome to Ohio. So we've got that going on. And then I think we did more than our fair share of driver reshafts and adapter replacements. We had a handful of this year, at least in my mind's eye, the replacement of the. I don't know if golfers are over tightening or not tightening enough, but the verdigris that we see in the TaylorMade was at a high end. That's typically because of the water that's carrying the fertilizer gets in there and it gets that white verdigris going. Some others, we did a replacement of the little screw that holds that in there. Did a lot of those, and they were snapped off in the adapter. If they're sticking out enough to where you can take them apart and grab them with a pair of pliers, it's not no harm, no foul. However, buying those little screws are not commonplace. Okay, normally they either come with the adapter, because they very rarely are sold by their lonesomes. So you have to be aware of that. So if you break off your screw, you may have just claimed an extra adapter, and that might not necessarily be a bad thing. And then we did more than our fair share of loft and lies this year. So it's been a lot. We've the other thing a year in review is that we kind of slowed ourselves down on purpose, because, and I have to say this, is that because we were taking care of my dad. Robin carried the load on that one as well. And I say goodbye to my dad again, in that there he is. And he was, my golfing buddy there for the longest while. And he's no longer with us, but I know he's in a better place, and he's probably laughing at me right now talking about it, or he's at least really happy that I'm talking about it. And so salute to my dad. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all those good things that come into it. He won't see it right there because there's the camera. There you go. There you go. And all that. So everybody out there, if you're Irish, Salancha, everybody else, Salute. And Charlie, this is Buckner's 15. So we're starting it off with a special. And if you see, we stopped at this place too. And I picked up another, if I can get rid of that. There we go. There we go. Chicken cock. And I got another Kisner bottle. It's a Kevin Kisner, the only golf one I can find, and it's double oaked, and it's actually pretty good. We went there and I tested them against the other ones that were all special, and in my opinion, it didn't hold a candle. I even tried some 20-year stuff that was Canadian 20-year. I'm sorry, Canada, but it just wasn't that good. It's Canadian whiskey. It's not bourbon. So if you know that going into it, it's a different flavor. But anyway, salute everybody. Okay, now let's get to it. All right, so we did our talking. Again, Happy New Year to everybody. When you go out tomorrow, have a great time, but have a great time responsibly. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. In fact, what we did is I had to take a half a day off today because the high winds came through and it blew a couple of sidings off. I put those back on because tomorrow we're turning around and getting back on the road again. And we're getting back on the road again to go watch and see how a barrel's put together. And so that should be good. And then we're going up to Cincinnati to go check the lights because she wanted to go see the lights at the Cincinnati Zoo. So somewhere in there, I'm going to try and finagle a stop somewhere. We're going to see. Speaking of barrels, remember me talking to you about the barrel, the barrel clock that we made? We made the barrel clock. Well, I finally got the numbers. There we go. There they are, guys and gals. I got the hands on it.
They never saw it before. I wouldn't let you.
Oh yeah. So here it is. Okay. She says you haven't seen it. I showed something. Oh, okay. So here it is. Jim and Robbins, Kentucky Bourbon Trail, aged 41 years, completed on this date. And there's the hands. We waited. We had to reorder the numbers. We had to reorder the numbers in order to get it there. And we got everything working. And I've got a big old wire on the back that will hold over 40 pounds. So this thing is good to go. Now we just need a place to put it. And she says we got a place outside. We'll see. So there it is. All right. Yep, that's her anniversary gift right there. All righty. Let's see. There's Matt. He's back on the roll. Got 2 rounds in. 75 and 71 after he takes all that time off and he still shoots in the 70s. Good gravy. All right, resolution for 2025 to continue focus on the short game and to work on the fundamentals. Cheers to everybody. All righty. Fundamentals is a great thing. We probably should do that. All righty. John Cherry says, greetings from Myrtle Beach and Happy New Year to everyone. Same to you guys. I'm still going to get into some more of this 15. There it is. Okay. Peter says for 2025 he aims to keep his putts between 28 and 34. That's a good number to have, Peter. I'd like to get to that one. I'd like to start putting again. Steven, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Happy New Year. Thank you, Peter or Steven. Thank you. Again, if you would like, subscribe. Let's get that subscribership going. I'd like to hit another milestone before we're at the end of the year. Charlie says, excellent rounds, Matt, especially not for playing much. That's what I was thinking. Robin says, thank you to Stephen and hi to Charlie. Matt says, hi, Robin, same to you. Also excited to actually be part of the show today. I should have come down to be part tonight. You should have. That would have been fun. We ought to start doing that. What do you guys think? You guys got enough computer experience to have a camera and a microphone? Maybe we can set some where you guys can come back in and we can talk to the crowd as a whole. That would be kind of fun. I have no idea how that would go. That would be a lot of fun. I'm here to tell you. I do have a limit on how many I can let in at a time, but That we can do 1 or 2 a day. That would be fun. Are we having problems with the video portion? We should not.
You were though,
I was having a problem with something.
and I told
They
you.
was
it
sitting
didn't
next
work.
to me.
I
Anyway,
told you it didn't work.
yep, he didn't believe me. I didn't. I hit so how you do this is you hit go live and it takes off on its own. Apparently this time it did not.
Mm-hmm.
Jack King from a mild Lombard. You know, we're pretty close to having the same weather, Jack, or at least within a day of each other. We got into the 50s today, and with a very light wind, so it felt like it was much, much hotter after you go through the wind or the shade and you get out there and you're like, holy cow, I got to take off my sweatshirt and do that. So those numbers that you saw on the clock, they came in. We told them, you know, don't do anything to them because we might let them rust or something, because we had them rusty on the first one. So there's a different color of brown. And the rust smell, if you ever had that rust smell, it's almost like a dried blood kind of thing. And I was just like, no, we're not having that. So they sent them to us freshly cut, and then I put them out in the garage and I painted them. So we're in better shape. All right. Charlie says he managed a round of 80 with his new irons. Windows were lower than expected, and the club had a head-heavy feel. Had to take 1 or 2 more approach shots, but was backing the ball 8 to 12 inches even then. Wow. Very cool.
Is that good?
Well, backing the ball up is pretty impressive. Head heavy, which is different. They probably will, because the head is a little more compact. But outside of that, I think you'll be fine.
Does it have something to do with the thing that you put in the shaft? The damper?
No. And you should have. Jim got to work early today. Yep. Well, as tall as Matt is, he wouldn't even have needed the damn ladder. Sent you an email. Thought you would check it out later. Okay, I will. Sally said the same thing. Well, you could have come on down. You know what? And Sally, we came back with more than our fair share of a handful of bottles, and there was a couple in there that I'm sure she would have liked. Because Mrs. Mcgolf came back. She had, was it 6? She came 6 or 8 of them, and she kept wanting to buy one. I said, might as well buy 2, because we're not going to be back here for a long, long time. And so she got her fair share. Jack King says, when assembling a cloud hybrid, what does tipping the shaft do? A cloud hybrid. I don't know what a cloud hybrid is. Maybe he's got something a little further down. Nope. So anyway, Jack, so when you're assembling, let's just say keep it at a hybrid, okay? And a hybrid shaft comes in a particular length. Typically, that shaft is made right out of the box, just prep the end of it and go for a 2 or a 3 hybrid, depending on the manufacturer. And then what you do is you trim a little bit off of the shaft in order for it to fit in, say, a 4 hybrid, then a little bit more for the 5, and a little bit more for the 6, and so on, right? And you have to really take a look at the manufacturer's specs, because sometimes you might be a half of an inch. Sometimes it might only be trimmed certain times throughout, much like the Axiom shaft. You only trim it very specifically based on their flights. So you really, really want to be, look at what the manufacturer tells you, because if you only have 3 inches of tip, you're not going to be able to go from a 3 to an 8. You're only going to be able to get to a certain spot, and then you're done. And then that's the end of it. And the reason why you do that is the heads get heavier as they get a bigger number. All right, so you might start out at I'm going to say 215, 220-ish, somewhere in that area. And then it will go up by 4 or 5 grams a piece. So you want to be careful of that. Dave Brozowski, Happy New Year, Jim and Robin, all the Mcgolf nuts. Bring on 2025. You know what? I'm ready too. We've had massive changes in our life and our lifestyle. So I'm ready to let's ready to get it moving and get it back on track. Charlie says he never had the ball back up at all, so that's new to him. So now you gotta think about being beyond the stick a little bit there, Charlie. Good for you. So is it because of the engagement of the thinner sole? That could be cool. And that's the reason why I like those CBs. Like I've said it plenty of time. I like the CBs. I like the feel of them. I think they're good performers. And I'd have to do exactly what we did for you, Charlie. And I personally, I'd have to jack the loft 1.5 degrees to 2 degrees to get them to where the distances that I like. But you know what? That's okay. All right. Charlie says the ball went right where he aimed it, and that's what we want. Also, I like you know what? Again, I'm not a big Dynamic Gold fan, but this Dynamic Gold mid, whatever they did to whatever fairy dust they sprinkled on it, Charlie, I like it. It performs well. I think what they may have done is they may have reenacted the old Dynalite and brought it through. And the Dynalite was a phenomenal shaft. It fits so many people, and hopefully that's what they put back in play. Charles, he says, Charlie, that's awesome. Yes, it is. Dave B, whatever that. There's Krister. Hope all is well with you and Robin. Very much so. So, Krister, I did get to see again some of your Instagram input, and your swing changed. It that little disappeared. Good for you. And it looked like you were just throwing it right exactly where you wanted it to go. Hopefully, it worked out. I like what you were working on. It looks good. Oh, here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Like 2 the best. 1 and 3 are good as well. Haven't opened the envelope. More tasting to do. When you see them, Charlie, they're all three. They're all three very, very good pours, to tell you the truth. They really, really, really are. And I might actually be drinking one of them. So good for you. All right. Yeah, man, I was surprised to see it, but really like that about the new irons. Good for you. Now, Charlie, we're going to have to see. I saw the new drivers. Of course, I got the Wilson in my bag now with the Shogun in it, and it goes. I don't think I'm quite dialed in because I really haven't had much golf since I did that. But if that new driver, if the looks are any indication of how it's going to perform, I hope Wilson ordered enough. They are good looking clubs. They do a very, very fine job. Ah, there you go. There, we got that one answered. Then we just went with it. Good. Matt, they set it behind the ball review, and they're beautiful to look at. They do have a thinner top line. They have just a hair less offset, and they also have a much thinner sole, but it's very much radiused, and it gets through. For me, if you're a picker, not a big monster divot taker, then you would really, really like these. Even if you were a slight divot taker, I think you would really like these because of the sheer radius on the sole. Where the Dynaforge is a little bit thicker, tends to be problematic to get through if the trailing edge gets cut or get caught. However, but if you're a divot taker, you would love them, right? All right. He did get 4. I think did you get 4 through pitch or 4 through the gap?
Yeah, 4 through gap.
There were 4 through gap. Oh, there they are. Nice. Are you a hybrid or fairwood player? He likes the fairways. There we go. Matt says Matt must not be at basketball today. He got golf balls, a donut club, or a donut for his golf club, tees, and some chrome soft True Viz. He likes the True Viz. Looks like you scored pretty good. Well done. Charlie says happy 41st to me and you. Thank you, Charlie. Matt says happy anniversary. Well, Robin's gotten ahead of me. Dave says happy 41st. Thank you, guys. And there he goes. So we go back. Let's see. We go back, and we're right here. And this guy right here, we've been married longer than this guy's been alive. We've been married longer than that guy's been alive. We've been married longer than those two guys have been alive. And then the couple in the back, they were a lot of fun. We saw them there, and then we saw, where was the other place? Oh, we saw them at the preservation first, and then they met us up over there. Half the folks that we saw at the preservation were, well, they were old, yes, and they were old, but they were also they also followed us to the Heaven Hill, so that was kind of neat. Yeah. All righty. Let's see. John says golfing Christmas. I got a new sub 70 driver. Nice. Glad you like it. 859. I like to talk to those guys. My son served in the Army. Well, good deal. There's a lot of Charlie, as far as, if you wanted to get in with somebody, these guys do something where they, is this going to move with me? Yes, it is. Let's do this again. Come on.
I think that's something you say on every live stream.
I know. There we go. Anyway, these guys, this company, whenever you buy something, they portion of it goes to that group. I'm not sure how they work that out, but and I know I've said it before, Jay Mattingly really does a lot of work with the military, and a lot of when they sell, portions of their proceeds go to whatever charities they do. If you ever heard of a Henry Stanton, I believe he was on Gunsmoke, and he's been on a handful of movies. Quite the actor. They had a bourbon for him, and with his picture on it, and the proceeds for his go to a camp for the kids and the returning veterans for Navy SEALs, and to deal with PTSD and how the families can react, and get people kind of calmed down and brought back into the fold. And so that was really cool too. Krister says you got a 16 delivered before Christmas and got myself a new phone. Nice. Bought an iPhone 12 mini refurbished. Much more power than the 8. Yes, it has. Well, you're only 4 models behind now. But in Krister's true fashion of getting through there, I saw you hitting it. You said you didn't like the shaft in it, but it looked like you were pummeling it pretty good. Jack says, congratulations on 41 years. My wife and I celebrated 42. Nice. Well done, Jack. Good job. I'm afraid that numbers like that aren't seen very often. John, good evening and happy anniversary and anniversary Christmas. You got 36 Pro Vs and some rain gear. Well, good for you. I like the rain gear idea, particularly when they get the kind that breathes. We've had some rain, and when it gets to where it's quasi warm, say in the 50s ish, and you're out golfing, the stuff sticks to you. There's the regular rain coats if you don't have a long sleeve underneath of it, and then you start getting hot. Oh, he also got himself a 12-pack of the RCT balls. Well, if you're in there a lot and you can track your own stuff, that works out good for you. That's a heck of a purchase. My brother served in the 101st Screaming Eagles. There you go, buddy. So now you know where to go. If your brother's still with us, that was at Boundary Oak. You can get on there. I think they'll actually mail it out. They have some other stuff. It's pretty good. That's the reason why we got it. Other than the bottle was super cool, but the bourbon in there is pretty good too. John Lamb, what do you say, buddy? Wooden nickel. There's lots of sayings about those. Well, very happy anniversary. Excellent to hear, and longevity of the love affair. Oh, yes, it's a very good love affair. Just going on 15th on my second, so kudos to you guys. Very nice. Funny that you say that. We're sitting at Chicken Cock, and it's much like it's an old house on the circle right in the middle of Bardstown. And when you go in, it's like a speakeasy. And you go into the bar area, and sitting in there was a guy I think he said he was a surgeon. Anyway, he was on he was on his 4th wife when we met them. All right. Krister says Tylus is releasing a 280 mini driver. My club maker has already ordered one for fittings. Mini drivers go up and down in popularity. I think they got a place in certain spots, right? If you got a guy that, particularly if it's upright, if it's flat, it's going to be it's going to be a very narrow package. But yeah, and because it's very versatile, right? Very versatile. Rum says thanks. Jen, Happy New Year. I hope Santa makes was kind to you all, and you got lots of quality time with family and friends. Enjoying lots of good food and a few libations. There we go. Yeah, I got a. As far as golf goes, I got a bar mat that says Pars and Pours on it from a friend of ours, and I got a bigger bar mat says the same thing. That was kind of nice from Silograms. And I got a 4x36 belt sander, and so I'm going to be making some sawdust here in the near future, and in order to do more work on the bourbon barrels. So it was a pretty good time, and then we got the trip, which was amazing. It was a good trip. The places that you go, the stories that you hear, the people that you meet. Actually, some of the food we ate was pretty spectacular too. All right, Krister, when are you going to try that? Yeah, whenever it gets in, I guarantee you he'll be first in line. Thank you, Jack, for the congratulations, and to you too. Yes. Hate spell checker. I know, right? Particularly on my phone, man. I cuss my phone up and down all the time for that. Wayne, there you go. He says Happy New Year and Happy Anniversary to you and Robin. Thank you very much. 34 are watching, only 6 thumbs up. Okay, guys, if you please follow Charlie's advice and throw that thumbs up at us if you would, I'd appreciate it. If you guys got some more golfy questions, throw them out there, man. When it's available, the fitting, hopefully in February or March. There you go. Well, maybe I'll get Krister when we get down there at the show, and because Tylus will be there in their white sport coats and the whole 9 yards, and maybe we'll get to see it then. Charles King, or Jack says, Charlie, I agree about the spell check. It corrects something I didn't want to say. No doubt. You mean like this, tank?
Yeah, that was me.
And oh, thank you, Charlie. Let's see, just like that.
Yeah, I was just fat figuring it.
And then Charlie wants to know if it's A&W.
Yes.
J and W'd up.
Yes, I was having withdrawals. All that bourbon.
Mrs. Mcgolf was turned into a bourbon tasting pro. Hey, Jim Rum, thanks for a great year of videos, live streams, chats. Of course, the irons and wedges you built. Love you guys. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Hopefully you win even more with those wedges. Now that we got them all in the raw. Generally, Charles Barthew, always hit the thumbs up. Even come back some days and hit it if I miss the blog. I have to keep it going. I appreciate it, John. Yes, I didn't drink any vodka over the weekend. Too much bourbon tasting. I have a bit of withdrawal. She was like, what are we going to drink? Well, you got 8 bottles to choose from. Grab one. And you guys got a bourbon cream recipe. I'm sure she'd be willing to hear it because we now have 3 different bottles and with flavors in them. At least, no doubt. And she was. You should have seen a couple of the faces that she made. And the people giving the tour picked up on it right away. Says, oh, so you didn't like that one? Yeah, we'll give it away. Or the, so who knows? And okay. How much with Sean did you guys sell? Only what we sold to you. Oh yeah, we probably did a couple of single length irons. Yeah, we did some of that. Not very much though. They come out with some new stuff, so maybe I have to check it out. All right, John Lamb, have a chance to get some 770 irons with IA80 steel fibers. Would have to extend an inch. Yeah, I know, pushing it. Any info on the shaft? I usually aim for 1 gram. So the steel fiber has really 2 different kinds. They have the steel fiber, which is the silver and was it a black kind of a banding, and then they have a private select. And basically what the private select is a tighter tolerance version of the exact same thing. Is it a nicer shaft? From a QA perspective, very much so. So it's up to a person whether or not they want to spend that little extra money to get to it. I do like they when you get in a good set, there was a consistency issue for a while. I believe they've solved that. And if it's a newer set, don't sweat it because that happened years ago. And the 80 is going to play. Obviously, it's going to be a little lighter than the 105 that you're used to. But I believe Chris when he made those shafts, the 80 was just a number, and it was anywhere from a high 70s kind of number. I don't believe it was above an 80, but that was it. It'll play soft. It'll probably play softer. If you're used to a 105 in a steel, it'll feel softer. If it's 105 in graphite, it will play a lot softer. When you get into 105 in graphite, those things become pretty boardy. But when you go to extend them about an inch, it actually will probably feel better. Okay, and you'll feel a little bit more head weight maybe, and depending on what kind of grips that you're putting on there, and it should be, if you're in the right flex category, it's just a matter of timing. You very well may like them a lot because they are very consistent. Charlie's getting up early to play on New Year's Day. So did the temperatures come up, Charlie? Pardon me. Did the temperatures come up? Because they were pretty low there last time we talked. Single X did very well. Yep. Matt's going to be playing early tomorrow morning before the weather changes. There we go. Nice clock. There we go. And we got here Rook. Nice clock. Man, that's a sweet clock. I did like it. That was pretty cool. I got to invoke the use of my laser engraver, and I got the Pars and Pours one. That's coming next. It's setting with hands. It just needs numbers, of which I've got a glue, and I use the very fast setting epoxy to put those on. The last numbers we got came with holes in them so we could put tacks in them. These did not, so we just glued them in. Turns out it worked pretty good. So now we just got to figure out a place to put it. So where she wants to put it outside is we have a bunch of metal siding on our porch, and metal siding makes it easy to use a magnet, but this thing's heavy. And so I've got a couple of magnets with a 90-pound pull rating on it. So we're going to try and see whether or not that's going to hold it. I just got to get a bolt big enough to hold it and see if it'll stay up or not. That will be unique, to say the least. If not, it's a giant bolt that goes through it, and we'll hook it up that way. Thanks for getting us through these short days, winters, spring, and a few months away. Your videos keep us from going stir crazy. Well, thanks. We're going to try and get it now. Wayne, I got to admit, this year, because of all we had going on, our consistency with making videos was pretty piss poor. As far as the consistency goes, and some of the content. But like I said, a lot has changed, so we're going to endeavor to get better. And the Kickstarter normally for us is the PGA show. And I went back and looked, and we really only just skipped last year. So we're going to go right into 2025, and hopefully we'll have a really good season of it coming along. That should be. I really hope that's going to work out for us. All righty. Does it smell as good as it looks? I've sealed it up, Charlie. I sealed it up. John says to Krister, I've had that phone for a while. You will enjoy it. I had an 8 for a long time. That thing was a workhorse. Can you smell it? Yes. Joe Palace, what do you say, man? Happy New Year. Family's in town, so can't stay. Well, you know what? Family is far more important than watching one of these videos. Enjoy, and if you get a chance, come on back. All right, there's my dog Rex. What do you say, buddy? Glad you're joining us. Giving us all the idea of thumbing up. John Lamb, very beautiful job on the clock. Looks great. Thank you. Wait until you see the pars and pours when I'm done with that one. That one's going to look pretty decent too. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Zoom meetings. You know, I can record a Zoom meeting, and that's how I used to do a lot of my interviews, and with the guys from like Wilson and Callaway and all the other ones in Mizuno. I would download it from there. It actually makes a pretty good video, and that's what we did. But it's been ages since I've done it. I can do it on this, and then record it for later, and then edit it, and then put it out there. But this is what we're doing now. But on this one, I think I can have as many as 6 people in here. That would be that would be nutty, particularly if Kent showed up.
Where's Kent? He's not been on here.
Hadn't been out there for a while. There you go. Please hit that thumbs up. There's Krister. I like the phone a lot. It's way faster than the 8. Yes, physically smaller but bigger screen.
He got 12.
Yeah.
Charlie's 8.
12's a nice one, I got to tell you. Yeah. There's my sister. Happy anniversary. Thanks, Gab.
It's all his fault.
And all his fault. What are you
Jeff's
talking?
fault.
Oh,
Bourbon-ator.
Bourbon-ator. I haven't seen that one yet.
No, it's Jeff's fault for getting.
Oh, Jeff's fault for getting me into bourbon. No, it's not. Okay, Garrett Clarence, starting to feel comfortable again with the golf. I got a habit of standing a tiny bit too close to the ball, too far, moved a little closer, playing good, 60 and sunny in North Carolina. Very cool. Very cool indeed. Hold on a minute. That last sneeze. Okay, we just had a guy from North Carolina give us a call. He's interested in our cricket. A little bitty golf cart for horse trailers. All righty.
That's Sally, Matt's wife, texting me.
Oh,
It's her fault.
okay. There's Garrett. BC. There we go. BC had a good 9 today, 64 degrees in upstate South Carolina to wrap up the new year. Well, good job, dude. Oh, I like the picture in the back. Little Pinehurst action, I believe. Is that where that's at? No, somewhere else. Nicely done. Alan Campbell wants to know when the embargo date is. Still hitting the Cortex, hoping the driver. Oh, wow. You know, the Cortex driver never really did get all the accolades it really should have. That for what it was an outstandingly different driver. And it was funny because I got to talk to the president and the lead designer after I had ordered several of them in support of Wilson, knowing full well I was going to be able to adapt them some way. And every last one of them came in short. And what they were doing is they were cutting them to meet a swing weight number because the head was actually quite heavy. And so he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "It's a great driver." He goes, "Oh, good." And he says, I said, "If you want to know it all," and he said, "Tell me now. If you did," and I literally said, "If you want me to blow sunshine up your skirt, let me know. If you want to know the truth, let me know." And he said, No, we want to know everything." I said, "Okay." I said, "All your drivers are short." He said, how do you figure?" I said, "Well, tell me what the spec is." And he told me. I said, "You're a half inch short on everything that we received, and actually 3/4 of an inch on the stuff for left-handed guys." And he said, "Really?" And you could see him starting to puff up a little bit. And I said, "Hey, don't get me wrong." I said, "I did some testing, and what you cut them down to is quite possibly the most used length I've ever used. So you're doing me a favor. I don't have to do any modifications. I can hand him a golf club and then go out and play some really good golf once I tweak it." And all of a sudden he got his act back together. So that's pretty cool. All righty. Krister says he had the 75S Flex. Oh, okay. He didn't like the 16 at 41. That's its standard length there, Krister, but The set, yeah, for you, the way that you like golf clubs, the Evolution would have been good if it would have been an X-Flex. If you want a cheap mini driver, pick up an old persimmon-headed driver with a steel shaft. No doubt. Although, actually, nowadays, Charlie, that it would depend on what age that you used. The minis are probably bigger than the persimmon-headed drivers. If you go and look at it, except for the faces are much, much taller, but they're so much smaller. If you really go get them and you lay them out, because those mini drivers are going to have fairly large heads on them, and they're going to be probably twice the size as a persimmon. But in some cases, that's not a bad idea. Pete B, there's the Armor Cavalry. Almost forgot about y'all. Did a soft step stiff reshaft of the 925s. The results are amazing. Oh, I'm glad you like it. I'm glad we guessed right through it. We guessed right through it. Yeah, you're an Army guy. Is this what are these guys? The 101st? They actually called the Screaming Eagles. I'm not sure. It says Old Abe on it. I just I just think that the bottle is just so noteworthy. It's not even funny. Krister says, "Oh, and Happy New Year." No problem, Mr. Krister. Thank you, and same to you, sir. Any tips for indoor practice mats or for chipping in a garage? Ugh. Well, so number one, BC, indoor practice mats. There are a lot to choose from. Number one, it's about, is the practice mat like your playing conditions? Okay. So if your courses that you play on are very manicured or play more a lot like hard pan, then your average mat will come pretty close. I'm not a fan of it, but you can come pretty close. Why is that? Because the mat or the nap on that thing is very close to a hard pan situation. Now, if you play at golf courses, much like where you see that in the background, if you're playing at those types of courses, those standard mats will give you a false positive, and your game will be a bucket of crap for about 4 or 5 rounds until you can get out of that mode, because you're expecting this bounce off of the mat to get you've arranged your timing for short game in order to use that bounce off the mat to hit a solid strike, and that's just not what's going to happen. So if you want to get something that's a little cleaner or more realistic, the one that I use that I like the most is called Fiber Built. And Fiber Built does have a home unit. It's a smaller reusable piece on a rubber mat. I believe you might even be able to change out the pieces to simulate sand, which I do not recommend. But the other one, and then you can it has some training aids that you can put with it, and that's all up to you if you want to get it. But for just plain and simple hitting, it is a much better, more realistic result / feel than the standard mat. There is another one out there, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the name. It's like something shot, feel shot, or feel real shot, or something like that. Real. Anyway, that's another one. It's in the mat. The hitting area is more like a pillow. It looks to me like a pillowy area, so that it takes the strike as conducive as to real conditions. That I don't think so. That's the reason why I went to the Fiber Built, because they actually did the testing, and it is about as close as you can get without hitting dirt. And because it is thick, it will go deep. It will catch a club, and the other part is, particularly if you're going to do a lot of practice indoors, if you use those regular mats that have like a 1/4 inch of padding on the bottom, you'll start to develop elbow problems. And the reason why I know that is because that's how we started. And people were complaining about their elbows hurting and their shoulders hurting because they were bouncing the club off of this mat. The minute I went to this thing, that disappeared, and the numbers got better, and I got less false positive as well. So that's the reason why I just absolutely harp on that stuff. And then so that's what I would do. Krister's going back. Michael Moody, what do you say, sir? Hi everyone. Been working on Monday night, so missed you guys. Happy New Year's and best wishes to all the Mcgolf family. Same to you, Michael. Appreciate you jumping in there. Oh, using a pun. Oh, NS Pro 115s. That's not a bad little choice. Uh, Not a bad choice at all, honestly. That would be a much, what would we say, friendlier shaft. That would be really, really cool. All righty. Is there a driver that will get to 2 degrees flat like as with Sean 919? Well, I'd have to measure the 2 degrees flat is probably it's between 57 and 59, Matt. 59 is easy to get to, 57 not so much. I'd have to look at um, give me a moment. The Callaway in the triple diamond, I believe, will get flatter, and you can set it to the open, and when it does that, it becomes flatter still. I'd have to go look at the numbers, but that might get you there. Mizuno will do it. Mizuno will get there. Those are the ones that I know of. I don't think Wilson will come anywhere near close. I know Srixon won't get anywhere close. I would imagine TaylorMade's version of the same thing their high end, better golfer driver gets in there. I think that would probably do it again with some adjustments. I'm not sure about Titleist. They've got too many, and I don't follow them too much in order to see that. But for the ones that I do know of, I think the Triple Diamond could do it for you, and I'm pretty certain one of the Mizunos would do it once we adjusted it. Temps will be in the low 50s New Year's Day. Rain stops at 7 a.m. All right. We're supposed to run into rain up till about 7 o'clock, I think, here.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Freezing 31.
And then it's going to be, when we're driving home, it's going to be in the 30s. So, yeah, not for me. But I'm making a prime rib for our anniversary dinner.
For Bob and Penny.
And for Bob and Penny. Garrett Clemens, one of my epoxy beads came loose on a 4-iron. I guess I just need to regrip and empty. What? One of my epoxy beads came loose in a 4-iron. I guess I just need to regrip and empty the bead out of the shaft.
Glue blob.
No, it's a glue bead. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, okay. No, yeah, the best thing, and it's the easiest thing to do, Garrett, is just if you can pop off the grip and just let it come down, and you're good to go. There are probably a couple of things you could do, but the juice isn't worth the squeeze on this one. In that, pop off the grip, dump it out, put a new grip on. You end up with a much more up in here. You're more comfortable, and you got your brand new grip that's going to feel better. Charlie, nothing wrong with the Army. 75th Infantry Airborne Ranger here. Did one tour in 48 months. Best time to ever straighten me out. There you go. Well, there you go, John. Salute to the Army, even though I'm a Navy guy. I'm going to have to talk to Jay Mattingly about doing a Submariner one. There's John Kelly saying Happy New Year. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Lam, thank you for your service to our nation. Yes, I agree. Denton is going to be 80 degrees and played. Today was 80 and he played 36 holes. Well done, sir. The fact that you can get out this time of year. The fact that I got out in the backyard with no sweatshirt on and was working on the side of the house on a ladder on the very end of December is absolutely stunning. All right, so Last year at this time, it was freaking freezing.
41 likes.
Hey, we got 41 likes now. Somebody's doing work. Hey, John, hoorah. No doubt. No doubt. That's Pinehurst. Well, okay, then I was right I was right at the beginning. I've seen the statue. I like, man, is that Pinehurst? It must be. I haven't played there, Pinehurst proper. I played a lot of the courses around it. And as typical golf would go for me, the first 2 days are brilliant, and the last day, it's like all the wheels on my wagon are square. And I just can't hit the ball. It was awful. All righty, photo from last December. Got a 2 on number 2. Well, you go, man. Good job. You can do just golfing on Pinehurst itself, man. That's the way to go. John says, happy 40th to both of us. Very nice clock. I do like it. I mean, this is every bit of this. Oh, this is every bit of. That's every bit of a barrel. I mean, that's the actual barrel itself. Had to seal it on both sides. That's something else. Had to seal it on both sides. See if it moves. Aha, I got it that time. All righty. Thank you for the Tacoma build. There's Craig. I'm glad you got it. Did you get him? He got him, right?
Yeah, he got him today.
Oh, he got him today. Hopefully you like the way they look. Craig, I almost hit him. When I saw that they were left-handed, I was just like, oh, I got to hit these clubs. But we were wanting to get them out, and time was short. And I thought, well, better not just hit him and not think that you wouldn't let it. So I hope you really do like them. I do like the way they look, though, by the way. They measure the weights and everything on them were good. The lie angles were jacked up beyond all recognition, but they aren't anymore. So good luck. James Dunlap says, Happy New Year. Thank you, sir, and same to you guys. Aha. Mm-hmm. Sorry I messed up your address. The irons came in today. Good. And we're seeing that. Robin, as always, bang up job on the grip installation. They feel really good. Look at that. Al Foddy, happy holidays. Trying counterbalancing again with all the clubs. That rabbit hole was just too tempting. There's nothing, Al, there's really nothing wrong with a little bit of counterbalancing. The real problem is when you go too far, right? It's that return on investment. And counterbalancing isn't about throwing this monster weight in the back. It's really about just putting enough weight in the back. You can be as light as, when you're talking full swing clubs, you may only need something like 10 grams, right? You may only need 3 grams in order to make it do what you need it to do. Some of the best and easy way to do counterbalancing is with a bigger grip or a heavier grip, and you've automatically counterbalanced. I mean, that's by definition. Now, if you don't want to change your grip and do that because you're comfortable with it, that's fine. The installs of the BC grips, but I mean, or even whatever the other one is, True something or another. You can put those in the back of full swing clubs, and they do work. If you're an aggressive swinger, you will like it a lot. If you're a smoother swinger, probably not. Now, on a putter, I suggest it wholeheartedly. I'm about 95, 97% to the positive of positive results by doing back weighting. So have some fun and experiment, but don't be afraid to go lighter. Okay. Thumbs up. There we go. Jerry Cameron, happy Hogmanay Day from Scotland. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. So off topic, Jerry, the malted bourbons are becoming a thing here, which is basically a U.S. version of Scotch. And it's funny to see the faces when they actually taste it. I know it's an acquired taste. I've acquired it, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch these guys when they do it. But thank you all the way from Scotland. Thank you for staying up so late. Wife got me some new Lampkin 360s. Nice. Those are very grippy. I like those. And the best part is you can't install them in the wrong spot. Hence the idea of 360. Now, if you're really paying attention, I believe there is a couple of lines that have been blackened out. If you wanted to, be precise, you can use the logo on the butt end of the shaft to make sure it's upright. So when you slide it on, that they all look good. But in reality, does it make a difference? No, not really. Now it would have been really funny if they had a 360 and they put a rib in it. Then could it be a 360 with a rib? I don't know. That'd be kind of awful.
I think that's wrong.
I don't know if they could do that. So they got that. Good woman for Wayne. Wayne says married 51 years. Woo wee! Wow, good job, Wayne.
We can do that.
Got us whooped big time.
But look at that. I tell her that every day.
And tell her that every day. Well, good for you. You're a good soul, Wayne.
You're done.
And the last one is congratulations to you and your wife. Maybe we did need some spell check on that one.
It's vodka.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a quad, yeah. There you go. Put it all for it. Could you imagine the feel underneath that one, Krister? That would be something else. That would have to be I don't know. That would you know what? In reality, if you had it underneath and you grabbed it on both sides and that rib stuck in this portion or in this portion of your hand, and then your thumbs allowed some level of guidance on the top, at least, because they cross over ever so slightly, right? When you get in there like that, that might not be a bad idea. I don't know if it's legal, but that might not be a bad idea. All righty. Matt says happy anniversary. Craig says he loves how they look. I'm glad that the ferrules turned out good on those, Craig. I really did like them. They married up really well and they shined up really cool. I did like them a lot. All righty. Charlie says see you all next year, and I think that is one heck of a hey, that's a good sign-off note right there. Guys and gals from all over the world, again, thank you so very much. It's been a wonderful year. I'm glad you guys have stuck with us to help us get past our 40,000. Now we need to shoot for the next goal. And Merry Christmas for those that weren't here from the last time. Happy New Year to everybody. I know we'll be celebrating around the world. And as always, guys, I'd love for you guys to be safe. I would love for you guys to enjoy yourself to the fullest, because that's what it's all about, friends and family. And as always, let's see your scores go low.